Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is the weekly vegetable series update that I've been doing the last couple of months. I have this grow rack here that I've been germinating all my seeds. Did cool season vegetables first. Those are outside and in the garden and in some containers on my front porch. What's remaining in here now is all the summer vegetables, and I'm waiting for the weather to let me know it's okay to put them in. And I think looking at the 30-day forecast on AccuWeather for my area, there's not a night below 50 the rest of the month. And so I think that next Monday, which I think is the 14th, somewhere in there, I think I'm going to go ahead and start putting some of this, putting some of these things out in the ground if the forecast still looks the same at that time. They're pretty good. They're not very good at telling us whether it's going to rain tomorrow or not, but they're pretty good at long-range temperature forecasting. If I saw something around 40, I would think, well, maybe that could turn a little bit. You know, that's only 5 degrees from a frost. But if I'm looking at the forecast and seeing 50s as low the whole time, even if they're off, you know, they'd have to be 15, 16, 18 degrees off, you know, in order for that to be a problem. So I think next Monday I'm going to go ahead and get some of this warm season stuff in the ground, but I'm going to be prepared with a frost protection blanket to cover them if I need to. I'm not going to put them out there and just leave them to, you know, leave it completely to chance. Everything that I put in 2 weeks ago, all of the rest of the summer seeds are up. Pole beans are ready to start climbing. If you can see how tall these are, I'll give you a close up in a minute. I got 2 different kinds of pole beans here. All the different varieties of cucumbers are up. I've got some sunflowers in here as well, just for some color out there. And okra is up. Pretty much everything that was put in 2 weeks ago. The peppers look great. My tomatoes are a little stretched. I wish I'd have waited like one more week from when I seeded them. It's just a little bit too long in here. Everything that's in here this week I will fertilize with the fish emulsion that I've been showing throughout this series. And they've been in here long enough now that whatever nutrition they could get out of that seed starting mix is definitely gone. So definitely put the fish emulsion on them. Also going to do the same thing on my garden out here. I've had so many cool nights that I haven't, the lettuce is growing. I'll show it to you in a minute, but it hasn't put on as much growth as I would like. So I had put some vegetable tone fertilizer on it, that Espoma product, when I planted them, but it feeds the microbes and the microbes feed the plants. And if the microbes are dormant because the soil is so cold, it's not going to, you know, really kick that stuff in. So I'm going to use the fish emulsion out there as well. And there's an outdoor mixture and an indoor mixture. The indoor mixture is substantially less. So keep that in mind. 2 other things that have entered the picture since I did the last video. I had bought some seed potatoes and I didn't open them right when I got them. I got them, you know, a couple weeks ago. They had already come up in the box like this. And so I've got them over here in the window. I'm going to try to get some color on them. But normally with a seed potato, and you can buy seed potatoes right now at any of the box stores, in a lot of the garden centers will carry them as well. Typically you put the seed potato in a bright window. When it starts to put on this growth, then you slice them into pieces that include some of this growth that's on them. I'll give you a close-up of this in a second. And then you heal them for a night. You let the wound where you cut the potato dry out, and then you plant them. And you get several. But because these have already done this, I'm just going to leave them whole because the potato is actually a little soft now. And I'm going to plant them. And I'll show you this next week as well. These will get planted. And they're going in grow bags. I did a couple videos last year with these grow bags, but I'm going to just take 2 of these small red potatoes and put them in each bag, and I'll show you how I do that. These actually get planted almost near the bottom. There'll be a little bit of soil down at the bottom of this bag, and then this potato will go down there and it'll actually get buried. And then as the growth comes up above that soil each time, I'll continue to bury it until this bag is full of soil, and that'll take maybe 4 or 5 weeks. But I'll show you that process as we go. But you can get seed potatoes right now, and the instructions are on the box typically. But go ahead and get them out of the box and get them in a window and get them started, unlike I did. But it won't be any problem. I've had this happen before. As soon as the sun hits them this afternoon, they'll green up and they'll be fine. I'm not worried about them at all. And the second thing that entered the equation is I got my strawberries in. So I have a couple varieties of strawberries, and I've got some asparagus coming too. It's not here yet, but I'll talk about it when it does. But I have a couple varieties of strawberries. I was going out of town when they came in, so I just heeled them into a soil pile I have out here just to make sure they could get some sunlight and not be in the bag that they came to me in. I got those from Gurney's, and they could have gone in a pot. I could have planted them in a pot temporarily, but they're going to go in the ground next week as well, and I'll show you how I plant those. First things first, these are those funky looking potatoes now, but like I say, they'll be fine. And I'll plant them near the bottom of those bags. I'll put about 3, maybe 4 inches of soil at the bottom of the bag, and then put the potato right on top of that. And then over here on the rack, you can just see everything is germinated. These zinnias are quite tall. Everything up here got really tall while I was out of town this weekend, so I need to raise this light up. I'm gonna raise this light up a couple inches this morning, and that'll give them some additional room. Everything down here, the flowers that were done before, these are dahlias here. I think I called them zinnias in the last video, but there's some dahlias there. Zinnias are up there. I've also got some zinnia tubers, or dahlia tubers as well, that I'm gonna be putting in pots on my front porch. So you get to see that. I did them from seed here, and I'll do them from tubers that I bought in another video. Peppers look great. Tomatoes down here, like I say, are a little bit stretched. I'm not worried about that. I'll just plant them deep. I came out here and harvested this lettuce on Thursday last week, and they're already big and full again. It'll be time to do it again today, but any of these large leaves on the outside right there, you see how easy that popped off, and this is just so good. If you haven't had fresh lettuce, you know, out of a pot like this before, it tastes completely different. It really is amazing. So the peas have really started growing. Some of them are halfway up this trellis at this point, and I see a few flowers on them now, so it won't be long at all before we're seeing peas form on those. Spinach has done very little, and this is what I'm talking about, needing to come out here and fertilize this with a liquid that will immediately have an impact on these. These lettuces here are starting to grow, and I could probably come out here and take a few leaves off of this, especially that red lettuce right there is looking great. But it all looks good, and I'll get it fertilized. Now what you're gonna see me do next week is I'm gonna come out here right in the middle of these spaces right here, and I'm actually gonna plant my tomatoes and my peppers into this space with this lettuce, okay? And it's gonna take a few weeks for that, at least a couple weeks for these peppers, especially peppers will be super slow to start. It's gonna take a couple weeks for the tomatoes and the peppers to start growing, and that will give plenty of time for these lettuces to establish themselves. And then as the tomatoes and the peppers do start to grow, they'll offer a little bit of shade and may extend the time that I can grab a few leaves here and there for the until the early summer, and then they'll definitely burn out. So all my blueberry plants are in flower right now. I've got 6 on this side of the vegetable garden, and then I've got 2 figs right on the other side of it, and then 2 additional blueberries that I planted recently, and all of those are blooming and looking good. So I have this big soil mix mound here that I'm to for several different projects I have going on, and I had gotten these strawberries in before I left. This is how you'll receive bare root strawberries. They might have a tiny bit of growth like this one does right there, just a little bit of new growth, and I just heeled them into this pile while I went out of town, and while I was gone the green growth started on them right here, but I'm going to transplant them into the ground. But that's how the roots come. Like I say, these were from Gurney's, and this is Ozark Beauty, and over here I've got some Eversweet right here, and these are Everbearing Strawberries. These are ones you can plant and then, you know, expect to get strawberries year after year. But I just take the plants and stick them down in here for now and just bury them a little bit. I just leave just the top of the crown barely exposed there, just like that. And next week I'll go ahead and get them in their permanent home where they're going, which I haven't actually prepped yet, but I just wanted to show you that there are strawberries being planted, and this is a good time of year to get online and order some strawberries for your area that'll work in your area. So here are those other 2 blueberries I recently planted, and they're in full flower over here. So thank you very much for watching this video. Next week, like I say, I'm going to go ahead and start planting some of those warm season veggies right into that space where the cool season veggies are right now, and get those strawberries planted as well, and also show you the potatoes going into the grow bags. Thanks for watching.